You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
Kill Martha! What does that mean?
I know it. It all sounds like some bad movie.
Welcome to Moviesucktastic,
Yes.
and we're calling this episode 200,
This is episode 200.
which is coming a bit after episodes 201, 202, 203, 204, because we wanted because
And
we were
205.
we were kind of putting it off to do something special, and time ran out, and we still didn't have much special, so we're just gonna review Batman versus Superman because
Dawn of Justice.
we've both seen it,
That's right.
and actually. It's going to be an interesting review, I think, because apparently a lot of people didn't like the film.
Well, that's not entirely true. A lot of critics didn't like the film.
That's true.
Regular audience viewers actually did like it. It's in the 70 percentile for Rotten Tomatoes, 7.3 on IMDb. It's really the critics that had a real problem with it. And I read some negative reviews, and they're all wrong.
Yeah. Now, we had talked about the trailers coming up to the actual release, and I myself, even though I'm a Zack Snyder fan, had expressed some concerns.
Yes.
I think
people kept asking me about Ben Affleck as Batman. I'm like, don't worry, he's gonna be fine.
Oh, that was never my concern. Ben Affleck. He was the bomb in Phantoms, and he's he's one of those guys that got shit just because it was like popular to give him shit.
Right.
But he's a good actor. He's a great personality. Yeah. He can do both serious and comedic roles, which he's proven.
Yes.
Every actor has a bad call or two. In his case, Daredevil, Jiggly. It's bound to happen.
Right.
And now, what's interesting to me is us going into Batman versus Superman.
Yes.
We're going into it as in our 40s.
Yes. Which, ironically enough, is just about the age range that Batman is in for these movies.
Right. But when
because it loosely follows the Frank Miller storyline.
Yeah, loosely. Now the first,
which I like, by the way. I like that it's loosely following it. I mean.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, Zack Snyder's good with that. He knows when to follow source material and when to change it.
Oh,
and
real quick, we're going to do spoilers for this, right? We're just going to give everyone...
Oh, yeah. Spoiler alert.
I mean, it's spoiler. I'll put it in the iTunes, and it'll go in the YouTube video and all of that. But there's going to be spoilers throughout. We're not going to be, the firfirst half of this review is spoiler-free. The second... No. We're just going to talk about shit, because that's how we do it. We're both DC fans growing up. I spotted something in the film, and I told Scott about it, and it's just like we had that moment, back to the comic book days. But anyway,
well, let me just because I want to set this up because I think this is where we're coming from. It's weird for me. I remember when Michael Keaton was announced to be Batman in the first post Adam West Batman movie,
right?
And
which, up until now, he was the oldest Batman until Ben Affleck is doing it at age 43. He was like 38 or something.
Yeah, and I remember letter writing campaigns, protest petitions being held at comic stores, etc. Of stop them from putting Michael Keaton and Batman and ruining Batman on the big screen. It was a huge movement. Everybody, they're gonna hate it. That turned out to be the biggest fucking hit ever that summer.
And to this day, when I talk to certain people, to this day, they say Michael Keaton is the only Batman that I ever loved. He's the best Batman. And I'm like,
Which,
you gotta come on, you gotta accept other. No, I like the other Batmans are okay, but no, it doesn't get better than Michael Keaton.
yeah, it does.
It really does.
Really does. But I think Michael Keaton was a great Bruce Wayne.
Yes, he was.
But I mean, so we're coming from that, and before that Batman movie came out, all you had was the comics and maybe the like Batman the animated series had just started coming out. It had been out for a little while, I think, or did it come out after?
Batman 89 animated series, probably 93, 94.
So that was after. So
yeah,
before Batman came out, it was just a comic book.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why it's so
it's a
goofy.
shitty TV show in the 60s. Then a Tim Burton movie.
The correct terminology is campy, Joey.
And then obviously comic books before all of that.
Right. But now we have this whole generation of I'll say it, kids that are reviewing this movie, watching this film, and they've not only grown up with all the previous Batman incarnations up through all the Schumacher films into the new Dark Knight series, but they've also grown up with not Batman animated series and all these other superhero cartoons that came out highly successful since then.
Right.
They have a lot more background, and they have a lot more. There's such a wide variety of interpretations that they've taken in and adapted their own. So it's a different ball game for us as opposed to them.
Very much so. There was a few reviews that I did read, and the animated series was brought up, and I'm like, don't do that. Yeah. Please stop. And you know what? I, as much as anyone, would like to see Clayface in a Batman movie. And I think the type of director that could do it would be Zack Snyder because it would be very visual. But that's the 15-year-old me, watching the animated series, because one of the best episodes they ever did was Clayface in the animated show. And it's like, but no, don't do that. Stop that.
Yeah.
No, come on. You don't ever, no.
So,
this is loosely based on the Frank Miller storyline. This is and another thing I kept reading in negative reviews was that Batman is too dark. Well, it's like, you know what? If you read any of the Frank Miller storyline, this Batman doesn't give a fuck. Robin is dead. Joker has killed Robin. He is in a bad fucking place. He's very cranky. That is this type of Batman. That's just the way it's going to be.
Now, also on top of that, I've read a lot. Some of the negative reviews I read were saying that Superman's supposed to be this like light, friendly. They're thinking of the Christopher Reeve Superman or the Superman from the cartoons.
Yeah, and you know what this is? This is junkyard fight Superman.
Right. Well,
that's what I want.
They say, oh yeah, so they made him dark, so like Batman's bringing him into this world. So, well, yeah, Man of Steel. A lot of this too was set up in the tone of Man of Steel, which Man of Steel was very controversial to a lot of people because it was a serious Superman film.
Yeah.
And
finally,
after the colossal shitstorm that was Superman Returns, you'd think people would have been, oh, good, we're going to stop that bullshit and actually, take this a little seriously.
Bullet off the eyeball.
Yeah. And so there's people whining about, he's supposed to be the Boy Scout versus, but it's like, no, that's if you're watching Justice League or the cartoons.
Right.
This is we're going into, and it's weird because, again, my concern going into it that I voiced earlier was, superhero films are getting a little too dark for me. Why can't they be this light and bright? And so I went into this kind of with that mindset. It's like, I'm kind of tired of the darkness and stuff. And I had no problem with this film.
No. And here's the thing. If they're going to... another thing that I read for as far as negative reviews has gone is how they, quote unquote, this is the reviewer, not me, shoehorned all the other superheroes into this. To set up a Justice League film.
Everybody's bending over backwards to bitch about a 3-minute scene where they just show clips of, here's all this footage that Lex Luthor had because he's tracking down these other metahumans. Right. And it's like, this is it's so awkward. It was so hand-fisted. They just shoved it in there. It's like, it was fucking 3 minutes.
I know, and it wasn't bad or anything. It just it's necessary because yes, they're franchising the DC Comics.
But let's be fair. Let's be fair. They can't put it after the credits because Marvel's kind of gotten that one in their pocket.
Well, here's the thing: when the movie was over, I started to watch the credits, and I'm like, wait a minute, Snyder doesn't do that. So and I was like, they're not just gonna rip off Marvel and start doing that. So I looked it up real quick online, and I left because the credits are like 8-9 minutes long.
Didn't even give it a second thought. Yeah, it was like
there's a bunch of people in that theater that probably left really pissed off, and they were not that they didn't like the film after. It's like, what the hell, man? It's like you're too used to the Marvel thing,
right?
And DC's not going to do that because they want to do their own thing. It's one of the reasons why, and we'll get to the end of the film. It's one of the reasons why the movie ended the way it did, and that plays. And we'll talk about that when we get to it. But it just DC's not going to just carbon copy what Marvel has done. They're just not going to do that.
And we should be grateful that they're not.
Right. So they said that they shoehorned all these superheroes in there, and to be honest, it felt more necessary than shoehorned to me because Marvel has been doing the whole they're on their 12th film, I think. The Civil War comes out next month.
Yeah.
It's their 12th film already, and this is DC's first film into this new universe where they're going to start making, lots of different superhero films. And
for everybody complaining about how dark this film was, how dramatic or dark this film was, how fucking just watching the trailers is like depressing for the Civil Wars. Oh yeah, just melodrama. I feel like I'm watching the X-Men trailer.
Well, and you know what's interesting? Something that came to mind about Marvel and DC, about how all the critics, they just praise Marvel, they love them, they can barely do no wrong. I mean, even Ant-Man was like over 80% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, yeah.
It reminds me.
And what the fuck is that about? Ant-Man at 80% on Rotten Tomatoes. Okay, now, it was a fun movie, but don't even start telling me that was a good film.
Right.
No.
It reminds me of your Stallone versus Schwarzenegger. It's kind of the same thing, but DC Marvel.
Kind of
is. They love Marvel, but they're just panning DC. DC can't, even Man of Steel, which was, like you said, for the first time ever, a serious take on Superman, and the best Superman film that has been done, I think, and I love the Christopher Reeve Superman movies, but it was also, it had some praise, but it got its punch in the mouth from the critics. Not as bad as this. I think they were waiting to do that for this. It just seems whoever was giving this negative reviews about how the story. One of the reviews that I read was that I should bring it up because the guy said, what did he say? He contradicts himself through his whole review, or at least the first paragraph was really bad.
Most of them do. I read one where it said, "Oh, it stayed pretty true to the Frank Miller Dark Knight series," but then he complained that they only fought at the end for like maybe 10 minutes, 15. It wasn't that long. Say, how long did they fight in the comic book, jackass? And they didn't fight. And who the fuck thought they were going to fight for 2.5 hours? Really?
Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but you got a specific one in hand, or?
Yeah, I have a specific one. All right, this is what he says. He goes, Batman vs. Superman should have been an engaging character study, but it's overstuffed, crowded with actors, jammed with plot. Don't you hate it? Don't you hate that when it's jammed with plot?
No, I've read overstuffed, crowded with actors, right? Because the last Avengers only had, 10 superheroes running around it? What was the fucking count?
Exactly. And what did that get on Rotten Tomatoes? I think that was in the upper 80s or 90s.
What did you say about plot? No plot or too much plot?
Jammed with plot.
See, I've read other ones that said there was no plot.
See, that's the thing. They're all saying something different.
Now, one of the things I see a lot of is sloppy editing. Really? What does that even mean? Sloppy editing?
That's Snyder films they don't have sloppy editing.
One guy's says so the film starts and it shows you 5 minutes of something, and then it goes to a different scene, and we're following something else for 5 minutes. Then it went to something else, and we're following this. So we got like all these different storylines going on. It says, what the fuck? How old are you?
If you ever read a comic book series,
Comics don't do that.
This should be easy.
You know what it's called? It's called storytelling. Every fucking film does it.
Here, this is what he says in the next part. He goes, "It promises a one-on-one showdown between two titans of the superhero world." Granted, we do get that. That's like,
yeah.
Okay. If two physical specimens throwing each other around sounds exciting, then you will be pleased. But there's so much excess fat in the almost 3-hour film. Too many plot threads muddle a crowded adventure.
Too many plot threads. There's like
now,
one.
Yeah.
What are the plot threads? Name the plot threads for me. Batman doesn't like Superman. Lex Luthor doesn't like Superman. Lex Luthor uses Superman and Batman. And yeah, we introduced Wonder Woman and Justice League.
And Doomsday.
Yeah, all right. Someone bitched about Doomsday. Oh, they ruined the character. Doomsday was a dumb fucking character. It always was. It was an excuse for the death of Superman. It was the only reason it was created. It was a shitty fucking character. It deserves no less. Now, what the guy that complained about them ruining Doomsday? You know what one of his suggestions was? Says, why didn't Lex Luthor clone Zod and make Bizarro Superman? What the fuck are you talking about? So you didn't like that? So
that's not how that works.
They're complaining that the film's too slow. They want to bring Me Am Superman into the film. Yeah, that's not going to slow things down because that's just going to take what?
Why don't we just go ahead and just do Mr. Mixelplick for fuck's sake? I mean, come on. God, let's do a Brainiac. Come on, let's do it. Fuck me, man.
Just... yeah, okay. I'm assuming Bizarro Superman's in the cartoons.
Yeah, and he's in the comics at some point too. It was never my favorite. You know what I liked? I liked when he went to Bizarro World. I mean, but they're never not going to do that on screen. That's just stupid.
I'm not saying.
I mean, it's just. I have a comic book, one of these kids' comic books that I read to my kids, and it has Bizarro Superman in it. And he comes to, Earth, and like there's a cat in a tree in one part, and he goes, "Oh, cat is bothering tree. It's I must save tree." It's like, yeah, let's do that on film.
And
just stop.
And Mr. Fucking genius screenwriter here, he's like, yeah, instead of doing Doomsday, they should have done that. Oh, good. So the ending could be Superman fighting another Superman? That hasn't done before. Oh, wait, it has. It was called Superman 2, and to a lesser extent, Superman 4. What the?
Right.
Yeah.
And if you count the junkyard scene, it's like that actually does happen.
And how long would it take? How long would it take Lex Luthor to clone Zod into a Bizarro Superman? Couldn't take any time at all, obviously. I've got my own very minor suggestions in the film, but minor.
The last part of this, guys, it's just one sentence or two sentences. It says, was it really necessary to present the Batman origin story yet another time? Again, 60 seconds of your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I thought it was, I liked now they always change it a little bit.
Did you notice the comedian is, Jeffrey Dean Morgan played his father, the comedian from Watchmen.
I saw that.
But it is necessary because they use it later on in the movie. But what Snyder does, because he's a stickler for detail. In the Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns, that scene is almost verbatim from the comic, all the way from the pearls wrapped around the gun to when he shoots, and then it breaks. That's right out of the comic.
Uh-huh.
And you know what? They needed to present that. It's 60 seconds, if that long, maybe a minute and a half, if you really timed it. And you know what? Don't complain.
And there's multiple reasons. One, it's again, it comes back in the film because it's a tone. It's about loyalty and humanity that comes into play. Everybody bitching about the Martha thing can go fuck themselves because they're hung up on the name and they're ignoring the fact that it's about humanity, about caring for humanity, and that's what Batman's worried about. That this is an alien that doesn't care about humanity, and again, I'm going way off track here, but the whole point of that is that this isn't the X-Men world where there's mutants coming out of your fucking ass. This is Batman world where we don't have superhumans. Superman's the first one. That's the big thing. It's like, wow, it's Superman. That's why he's a big deal, because there aren't. And now they're slowly saying, okay, now we're finding other metahumans. Now that's they're not calling them mutants. So now we're finding these other people. Now it's becoming a world with super beings in it. Superman's the first one, and Batman's like, this is.
And I love that, by the way.
Yeah.
The film opens up to Superman is introduced to Metropolis. And it shows the ending of Man of Steel, but from Bruce Wayne's viewpoint, from the ground, which was fucking brilliant.
Not so brilliant that I would like to see these two films edited together in the one long film.
You know, because even though this is Batman versus Superman, you could, and I'm not going to take credit for this, and sorry to say, I did hear Kevin Smith say this. He goes, you could pretty much call this Man of Steel 2 with Batman. And he's not totally wrong either. Even
though I saw a lot of people complaining that it was really Batman's film and Superman was only making a cameo, which I don't get that at all.
No, I would have. There isn't as much Batman as there is Superman. And I've said this after seeing it, I would fucking love to see Snyder do just a Batman movie. Because everything Batman in this fucking ruled.
Fucking amazing. Now what I loved about that opening sequence with Bruce Wayne driving through Metropolis during the whole Man of Steel fight at the end is I love the fact that one of the big bitches about the Man of Steel was all those people died in that city. They killed all those people. It's horrible. I said, grow the fuck up. So we put Bruce Wayne is now those angry fans in the city like, damn you, Superman. And he's like, yeah, I want to kill him. And everyone's like, well, why is he being like that? So, well, because he's you fucking arrogant cop. And then I love at the end of the film, like just to placate these whiny bitches at least 5 times. Well, they're in a deserted part of the city now. There shouldn't be any casualties at all. Like 3 times. Oh, yep, they're on the island. It's totally uninhabited. There's not going to be any innocent casualties. Anybody who didn't like Man of Steel.
Everyone has gone home for the day because work is over. It's like, that's funny. I think I read an article when Man of Steel...
Major fucking Metropolis. Good thing it's happening on a weekend. Everybody's gone home, so there's nobody around to get killed accidentally like in the first film.
I hear there's an R-rated version of this that Snyder's going to put. It's going to be like an ultimate cut like he did with Watchmen, but he's going to do it with this.
Oh, I just got hard. That's going to be...
And it's going to be 30 minutes longer, so it's going to be a 3-hour Superman-Batman movie, which
now
I can't wait for.
Going back to the introduction of the parent's death.
Yes.
All right. First reason, because there's a plot arc involving that. Second reason, we're reintroducing a new Batman, and we have to do the origin story for a new Batman. This one was very truncated. Be thankful it wasn't a fucking half hour.
Right.
Or a whole movie.
Yeah.
Third, is that it sets up Bruce Wayne's dreams, which become an integral plot point of the film.
Right.
And that's like the first part where the bats are there and he starts floating. It's like, oh shit, what's going on here?
Right. Well, as soon as he started floating, and I was not worried, but I was like, oh shit, what's going on? And then he said it was a dream. I'm like, okay, it's fine.
The dream sequences, I tell you, one of my favorite parts was the post-apocalyptic Batman,
which might not be a dream. That might be real.
It's like the whole time travel thing comes into play a bit. Spoiler alert. Again, if you listen to this point, you're in it.
Here's the thing. That future, because Flash goes back in time too early, and ends up, it probably, well, not probably, I'm going to just say it doesn't happen. Right. When we see that scene from Bruce Wayne, because it's a dream, it actually it is happening. But, Lois Lane, again, spoiler coming at you, does die, okay? And
I thought it was the mother.
No, it's Lois Lane.
No. They're vague about it because he says,
Oh, I know what you're. Yeah, because of the end of the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
But forget the whole time trick. That was a fucking rocking scene. The Batman comes out with like the
it's
post-apocalypse.
fucking parademons.
Yeah,
I mean,
but just him taking out like the Nazi soldiers and snapping necks and pulls the gun as he's shooting like right out of Batman Year One.
Oh yeah, and the guy lifts up his arm and he grabs it and he's like, "Come with me," but he doesn't say that. But that's like the motion he makes. He's like, "We're getting the fuck out of here."
Now,
here's the thing with that. In the Frank Miller storyline, that is a polar opposite. It's like, because if you noticed all the badges, it's all Superman. It's like, I forget what they're called, but they worship Superman.
Right.
You know, they're like his army. Well, in the Frank Miller storyline, it's Batman. They are like Batman's army, but Batman,
he creates an underground army.
Yeah. So Snyder, he does little things like that where he reverses it because it works better to further the storyline.
You call them parademons, and that's what they are. But all I know is, like, I'm watching, like, all right, I think this is a dream. I'm not sure. And then all of a sudden, like, winged things start coming out of the skies. Like, it is a dream, and I'm fucking loving it. This is awesome.
Yeah. He gets punched in the back of the fucking head by one.
But I mean, the choreography of that fight scene was great. It was gritty, and I loved the beefy Dark Knight Batman. It was like there's like the massive trunk and the big Affleck was built for this fucking role.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the Frank Miller Batman. He's just all really like fucking thick and just menacing. That's Frank Miller's Batman. And the thing is too, I really like the microphone and the voice. For his voice, it's great. And can I just say that Jeffrey Lyons is the best fucking Alfred that we've ever had.
I still like Michael Keaton. I
like Michael Caine a lot. I really do. But Jeffrey Lyons is he's just like with the mic 1 2 3 1. Yeah, this mic's fine. And they cut out the middleman of someone else. What the fuck's his name? Morgan Freeman's.
I know you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. They cut that out completely because you know what? Fucking Christopher Nolan did it already. It's been done. Right. A few times. It's like, you know what? Let's just go right through Alfred. Alfred is the guy.
And since we don't have Alfred involved in like a major plot line through the thing, we don't have to do the setup of him talking to him and like, oh, I've known you this long. So yeah, we get Alfred. Let's just let Alfred be Alfred and move on to other things.
Right.
And now you mentioned the microphone. I was like, all I remember thinking like, oh shit, Christian Bale must be pissed. Like, you mean I didn't have to sound like an asshole for 3 movies? You could have just like done that. Oh, who are you talking to? It's like, fuck, why didn't we think of that?
Swear to me.
Yeah.
I did read a little tidbit about how that voice came about. They said he was completely miserable in the Batman suit because when he was test screening for Batman Begins, they put him in Michael Keaton's suit. And he said it was awful. And then I think they molded his suit after the Tim Burton Batman suit, and it was just thick. You couldn't barely move your head. He said you could barely move your arms. It was just very, very stiff, thick kind of plastic. And he said he was miserable in it. And he said, "Well, if I'm going to do this part, I'm going to let that misery come through in the character." And that's where he came up with the voice because he's just always mad. He was always pissed off. But no, Ben Affleck is a great Batman. The voice that they use for it is awesome. It's just, it works. And I'm really sad that a lot of these critics can't see that.
But
what? Another thing they set up, as far as the Justice League film goes, with that apocalyptic, future. I mean, who's coming, right? Darkseid. I mean, holy shit. He's fucking coming. The parademons. I mean, even when Batman steps out onto the cliff, you could see the symbol in like the grounds where he's ready to go. It's fucking Darkseid. It's like it's right there.
Yeah.
You got to catch it. It's on a sharp angle, but it's there. And it's just this is going to be a good series. At least the Justice League films are, because Snyder is at the helm.
Yeah.
Doing them. I don't know about Wonder Woman. I have my doubts about that. I have my doubts about the Aquaman film, But you know what? They're different. They're different directors.
Right.
They're doing a Flash film. They're doing the Flash. They're doing Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and Cyborg is announced for 2020, but it's coming.
Oh, that fucking bullshit. Cyborg,
Well,
really? All right. Okay, I'm watching.
well, is it any better than Marvel's Black Panther?
Hang on. I'm watching. Lilith went with me to see this, and I'm like, when the symbols come up, like, oh yeah, all right, I get this, and she's like, what's C? I says, shut up. And they show the Flash, and they show. She's like, that's the Flash. I know what the fucking symbol is. Shut up. And a Wonder Woman, and then Aquaman. It's like, all right, you know what? The tattoos, I'll give it a shot. But still a stupid character. And then they showed a C, and I'm like, C? Who the fuck C? I'm thinking, Captain Atom? Captain Atom wasn't just. I don't know about that. And they showed the whole thing, and I'm like, who the fuck is that? That is like. So on the drive home, I'm like, look it up on your phone. She's like, oh, it says it's Cyborg. She's like, oh, you gotta be fucking really? That's the best they could do? A Teen Titan? A Teen fucking Titan. We're doing Teen fucking Titans now, are we?
Well, here's the thing with Cyborg. I knew it was him immediately. One, because I watched Teen Titans with my children. They love that fucking show.
That's why they're doing it. Yeah. Oh.
But you know what? Snyder's he's going to do it fine. He's going to be fine.
It's just a lame. It's Teen Titan.
And Green Lantern is supposed to be part of the Justice League, and the whole
Guy
thing.
Gardner. Bring Guy Gardner in. God damn it! I want Guy Gardner.
What is there's Green Lantern?
Yeah, you know how the Green Lantern works.
Well, yeah.
All these different Green Lantern. Guy Gardner was the best Green Lantern ever, and he was in the Justice League when it was Justice League International. He was a high school gym teacher, and he's a complete dick. But the ring chose him because it could see into his pure heart and everything. That's great. But he's still an asshole, and he constantly fucked with Batman. He didn't like Batman, and Batman hated him, and he's always
Really?
He's always fucked with him. One issue, like he clocked him and knocked him out cold. But he has blonde bowl cut. He's just a complete douche, and he's fucking awesome. He's a great counterpoint to the team because no one likes him.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. Ryan Reynolds has gone on to do Deadpool, and that's now going to be his franchise. For probably at least the 2 or 3 more movies.
No, I think Deadpool is one of the reasons that Batman vs Superman is getting such a negative feedback.
Yeah, because that only came out a month before,
and
Civil War is coming out a month after.
And it's a very funny
2
film,
months.
Very action-packed.
It was great. I loved it.
So you got all these people that go to see Batman vs Superman now, and the 2 main complaints are, it's humorless. It's not enough humor in it. It's like, right.
You know what?
Let's get Robert Downey Jr. to make some cracks in it for a half an hour, and they're saying, and they're like saying, oh, it's too slow. So no, you mean there's not action sequences every 5 minutes like in Deadpool? Shut the fuck up. You've forgotten like every other Marvel film before this has these long, drawn-out dialogue pieces. There's no more in Batman vs Superman than there is any of that in, like, say, Captain America.
Right.
Either of them.
And you know what? If I want funny comic book film, I'll wait for the Deadpools. I'll wait for the Guardians of the Galaxies. I'll wait for those. That's what I'll wait for. I don't want my Batman, Superman films to be lighthearted. That's not what I was reading growing up. It wasn't.
And I'm gonna, and speaking of the dream sequences and stuff, when the Flash comes through that portal and is like trying to warn them about the future.
Right.
I mean, Crisis. That's from Crisis.
Oh yeah.
Like, all right, I know they're not going to do Crisis because they don't have like infinite Earths they have to try to cobble down, but I just love the fact they used that. That was such an iconic image of just Barry, like, just trying to get through that fucking time thing, and like it was beautiful.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the whole fucking the continuum right there, that the warp just can't get through. It's like, I'm too soon. No, you were right about him. You were always right. It's like, okay, who's he talking about? You know who he's talking about.
and even that's and again for the Martha thing, even that's the point there too. It's like, okay, yeah, this guy's not dangerous if we don't rob his humanity away from him, and that's what happens when you take away the only thing on Earth that like he's connected to.
Right.
I mean,
straight out of the comic. You take away Lois Lane or his mother or both, Superman is a fucking loose cannon.
Right.
You know, he doesn't have any morals. He's a fucking monster. I mean, really, he could literally destroy everything. You know, he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, and again,
that's why him and Batman are so good together. I mean, in the comics, they were friends for a long time. They really were. They were best buddies.
I read one negative review that complained about the film being too slow in the first half, and then as he said, like, why did Batman and Superman have to fight at the end? It was stupid. They should have, like, got to know each other, talked about what their differences. They're like, oh really? You wanted to go on a fucking like a bro date? What the fuck? What? Shut the fuck up! Really? Oh, you wanted to have a heart to heart over a latte or something? And that would have been cinematic, gold. Yeah, I mean, they could have worked
Someone
together.
Really said that?
Yeah, someone. Oh, dude, I'm like clawing my eyes out reading these negative reviews. I mean, it's just all of them bending over backwards saying, "Oh yeah, you know what? Wonder Woman was okay."
Now let me ask you a question: how full was the theater when you saw it? I know it's been out for 2 weeks now.
I went on a Wednesday night, so it was like empty.
Okay, I went on a Sunday, middle of the day, so my theater was pretty full, and I've been reading this in some reviews. People applauded when Wonder Woman was on the screen. When I was in the theater, there was a whole section of people, and it was more than a couple. It was a few dozen people applauded when she finally came on the screen.
I was sitting in the back row because Lilith's a teenager and you have to sit in the back row. And I'm not buying my own fucking popcorn, thank you. So we sat in the back row. But I didn't applaud or anything, but I did like at least a half dozen fist pumps during the movie. I was like, yeah! Most of them were around Batman, shit talking Superman because I like that. Like, hey, do you bleed? It's like, yeah, you're gonna, yeah. But when Wonder Woman appears for the first time, the score to the film was fucking awesome.
Oh,
and when
the music that you're right, the score to her appearing,
it was just like this. It was like it just jazzes you. It's like yeah.
I can't wait to get. I mean, I saw that in a really nice theater and it had a really good sound system, but I can't wait to do that in my sound system. You know, I can't wait to watch. I think I could watch this with my kids. Maybe I'm not sure yet. The Dark Side, Doomsday might be the tipping point.
Now, my only disappointment with Wonder Woman is that
she's too French. She's not nearly as French as what's her face from La Femme Nikita, but she's pretty French.
She's Israeli.
Isn't she French?
No, she's Israeli.
Oh, Godot. It's Godot. That's a French name, though.
Yeah, but she's Israeli.
Oh, I thought she was like born and bred in France.
I read it. I couldn't tell from the accent, so I'm not.
Don't get me wrong. I don't care that she's French.
No,
I thought she was fine.
I'm not coming off like, dude, you couldn't tell she was Israeli. I didn't know what the fuck she was till I looked it up. I'm not saying that, but no, she's not French. She's Israeli. Now I do agree with some people that complained that they should have gotten someone a bit more Amazonian, like big bone, thick woman, and that fact that they're the first real superhero female outside of the fucking Marvel universe. It's like really good.
Right.
The fact that she's kind of waifish thin, not that great.
Although that one picture that she has, which is obviously for the Wonder Woman film, because it's got Chris Pine, captain of the Enterprise. She does look thicker in that picture.
And maybe it's just me. Maybe it's because like every time they introduced her in the first half of the film, she's wearing these really tight, slimming dresses.
Yep.
And really just making sure that see how beautiful she is? Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I've seen beautiful women before. I want to see a woman that can swing a sword, thank you. And boy, does she ever.
Yeah.
But no, I thought she was, I'm not going to say like the best possible representation of Wonder Woman, but out of all the ways they could have fucked it up, she was good.
Yeah. No, she was fine. And she didn't look so waifish when she was in the fight scene with Doomsday.
No. But again,
I know what you're saying. I mean, like outside of the costume or the end scene, I mean, you're right. She's in skin tight like she's a model. She's a former model. This actress.
Yeah, and
that's
what I'm saying.
She's not very curvy, as far as Wonder Woman is curvy, but
and I think that's where they could have broken away from the whole, all these superheroes that are like, in the tight spandex, the superheroines that are in the tight spandex and rail thin, and you can grate cheese on their shoulder, fucking hip bones. What the fuck? And so it would have been nice to have somebody a bit more full bodied.
right.
It would have been a nice breakaway. And the fact that she's just another, you look at her as, oh, she's a model. It's. I'm not saying it's bad, but I really feel they could have taken a bold step away from this, especially in a day where we're very conscious of body shaming and and the whole image of women in film and how this causes issues in society. I felt they could have gone a different way and not have been such a risk as it would have been maybe 20 years ago.
Right. Well, it's interesting. Maybe they saw like a few hundred women for the part, and they're like, we got to get started. She's the best. We got to get this fucking thing rolling.
And can I also say it's refreshing to see like a new superhero film where they showed the X-Men trailer. What's the new one? End of the World.
It's Apocalypse.
They showed that trailer before the movie, and all I could think of was like, how come?
Which is interesting because that's Marvel in 20th Century Fox, and this is Warner Brothers in DC. But
what I found interesting was it's like every X-Men trailer I see, the characters keep getting younger.
Yeah.
Except
for Hugh Jackman.
Except for Hugh Jackman, because they don't want to replace him, but everybody else they keep replacing with younger actresses. Now, am I wrong? Am I correct in saying that Storm is played now by the chick from the Fire movies?
You know what? I don't.
Hunger Games.
Hunger Games?
Yeah, is she in the X-Men?
No. Jennifer Lawrence plays Mystique.
Okay.
Storm is played by another familiar face. I can't remember.
They're all young. They keep getting younger now. Xavier is a young. So it's refreshing to watch.
This is a new timeline that they started.
But they keep
which I love that Deadpool.
But
what he said, that was so fucking good.
Yeah, which Dr. Xavier? This timeline is just so confusing. But it's like
McAvoy or Stewart. These timelines.
It was just after watching that, I was like, oh, thank God these characters are actually getting older. Batman's older.
Right.
I like that. We're not going younger again.
I hope they get it done, because I know Hugh Jackman said he's done playing Wolverine, but you gotta have Deadpool Wolverine at some point. Think of how fucking great that would be.
You know what? I'm sure Hugh Jackman would probably be up for it.
He's gotta be.
Yeah.
He's got to be. Deadpool and
Part of me
always fucks with Wolverine.
Now, the fact that Wolverine is Canadian, but Deadpool keeps making Australian jokes about him, tells me that Hugh Jackman is already way in on the joke.
Right.
And that they're definitely they're already planning on it. Like they were planning on it before. Like Hugh Jackman was in on it. It's like, yeah, this is fucking great. That's all. That's what I feel about that, because, I mean, they didn't make him Australian in the films. He is Canadian.
This is true.
So the fact that he keeps calling him Australian means he's referring to Hugh Jackman, and I think there's a level of that where it's like, yeah, this is going to happen. I agree with you on that totally. Now, speaking of characters, Lex Luthor, which we have not talked about yet. Eisenberg?
Jesse Eisenberg.
Eisenberg. Now,
I didn't love it, but it's not the best Lex Luthor that has been on screen, but I didn't hate it either.
All right. Now, when you say best Lex Luthor,
well, you know what? Who's been Lex Luthor? You got Gene Hackman, obviously. Then you have
Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey.
Right.
And as far as theatrically, it's
That's
just
it.
three people.
Right.
Gene Hackman, Kevin Spacey, and Jesse Eisenberg.
I I understand why they played the character the way they did. They you need a character that's a bit, especially in a film where everybody's so serious. You need somebody that breaks that and is a contrast to your heroes. And when your heroes are all dark and serious, you need someone that seems lighter. And I did like the idea that they took the super genius, like Trump corporate guy, it made him a little insane, because if you're really in the money, again, that's the big thing with Lex Luthor, where, like, okay, you can kind of explain the comic books and stuff to an extent, you can do elaborate change, but just for the movie's sake, if you're all your concern is making money, why are you fucking with Superman?
Yeah.
Why? So, and I saw a couple people say, they don't explain why is he trying to kill Superman? No, they explain fully the whole thing with his father, and it's like this, he's psychotic, and he has this problem with authority figures, and Superman is the ultimate authority figure. He's God, and this guy, it's.
And speaking of God, did you notice the little inserts of like God throughout the film? They mention it a couple of times. False God. The one woman is in court saying, I don't even think he believes in God. The end scene after Doomsday, okay, there is just debris in the ground, and you could see as clear as day that there's two crucifixes. There's two crosses, like silhouetted. I mean, it if you look for it, you see it. But it's just Snyder attention to detail, like I said before. These little things. Oh, and I have a theory about how Superman dies and why the scene happens that way. And it goes all the way back to the beginning of the film.
Do tell.
Okay. In the beginning of the movie, Bruce Wayne, his father and his mother, they're leaving. Now, it's been done a bunch of different ways. I mean, in some they're leaving the opera. In some they're leaving... Mouse. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Well,
in this film, they're leaving a showing of the movie Excalibur.
No, they said coming soon Excalibur. They were seeing Zorro.
They're seeing Zorro?
Yes. The Marquis said coming Excalibur.
That kind of fucks up my theory a little bit. But
no, that alludes to it. That does allude to it. The whole Excalibur being actually shown there, but the movie poster's Zorro, and that's supposed to be an allusion to the whole idea of being a masked crusader.
Okay, well, because my whole that kind of fucks it up a little bit.
But they show Excalibur in the background, so they are mentioning it. So please continue.
Okay, so do you remember the film Excalibur? Okay, the end of the movie of Excalibur, the witch in the film, she has a child made from King Arthur, okay? And it's his son, okay? It's done through witchcraft, but it happens.
As all good children are.
Yeah. So he's created, quote unquote. Now, at the end of Excalibur, you got King Arthur and his son standing across from each other. They both have fucking spears, all right? And his son says to King Arthur, "Come, father, let us embrace." And then they fucking impale each other.
Right.
Okay?
I remember that. Okay.
That is exactly how the fucking end of the movie is. Superman comes at Doomsday, created from him.
Uh-huh.
Okay? And Doomsday impales Superman, and Superman impales Doomsday with the fucking kryptonite spear. It's basically, father, let us fucking embrace.
That is a great catch, and I have no doubt that it was intentional.
Snyder, I'm telling you, you're right. I'm right. That is there for that reason. And that is why I thought they were coming from seeing Excalibur, but the fact that it's still on the marquee is the same fucking thing.
No, I agree. Yeah.
So it's little things like that I wish I could just ask, Zack Snyder.
Oh, you know what? You don't have to ask him. That's just obvious. I mean, there's that's not a coincidence.
It's obvious for people like us.
Yeah.
Because this is what we do. But yeah, it's like, father, Let us embrace. And then...
So I defend Eisenberg's portrayal and the whole idea he's a little crazy. I like how he has that little mini meltdown during his speech at the party, where he kind of like starts muttering to himself. He's like,
"Oh, right."
I like that because it showed.
Like, thank you for coming.
Yeah, we had the eccentric and the showman, but no, there's more to it. This guy's not well, and I think it's just like I like the Joker and the Suicide Squad trailers, where it's a different take on the character. Finally, we have a different take on Lex Luthor, where he's not just money is power and power is money, and by the way, let me try to kill this Superman guy. What the fuck?
Oh yeah. Speaking of, and Suicide Squad is probably going to be dark, but it's going to be funny. It's going to have that humor they're looking for.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, now again, when it comes to Lex Luthor and Superman films, I am dead set against it. And when I heard that Lex Luthor was in this one, I was like, oh please! I was just so fucking happy he wasn't in Man of Steel. Why do we have to put him in this one? When Kevin Spacey was in Superman Returns, like, why the fuck are we doing this? There's so many. This is not the only person Superman ever fought, and how many? You have a treasure trove of characters. Yep. And now, if it wasn't for the fact that the main focus of the Batman film was the conflict between Batman and Superman, then I'd be upset that we would have to go back to fucking Luthor.
Right.
But they really just use Luthor as, okay, here's somebody that sets everything in motion. And since it's such a character that we all know, we can just show him, and everybody's like, oh, yeah, the bald guy. Oh, he has hair, but now he has hair.
Long, flowing hair. And
we can let him go ahead and just get all this shit going, and we don't have to explain everything. And he takes up maybe, 10, 15 minutes of screen time?
If it's longer, it's not much. Maybe 20.
Yeah.
They use him sparingly.
He is a plot device. That's it. He's not a
I love the scene that he has with Superman, where Superman comes to him, and basically at the end of that scene, he's got the little egg timer, and he's like, "When you got here, you had an hour. Now you have less." It's like it's perfect. It's just he doesn't tell you how much time. You just have less than an hour. When you arrived, you had this, and now you have less.
I like what they did with the character. Now, here's my only complaint about Lex Luthor. Okay. When they show him playing with the kryptonite, and they show him like with the big kryptonite, and they're even saying it's radioactive. It has this. I'm just like in the back of my head. Oh, yeah, that's how he loses his hair, and that's how he loses his hair, and yet he's gonna get some kind of like weird cancer from the kryptonite because he's in constant contact with it, and that's how he loses his hair. And it's like, no, they just shave it at the end. So, well, fuck. Because the fact that I like the idea that his obsession with attacking Superman is self-destructive. Right. I thought that would have been that's the only thing that I thought of was like that my idea is better than him being shaved from prison. I believe that. Only thing I thought of where I was like, okay, I could have done better. Everything else was like, yeah, this is good.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and somebody else can play. Oh, when Superman stopped Batman when he's chasing the truck, he saw it was the pursuit. Why would he stop him? Because he assume he's after criminals? Because he doesn't like Batman. That's what this whole thing's about. You fucking drool cup. Really?
Yes,
yeah,
really.
I remember when the first Batman, like when Michael Keaton Batman came out. Prince Batman came out, and there's that scene where at the end where he drives the car in and he drops the bombs, and the goons are like, "What are those?" And the whole place blows up, and everybody was pissed. Like, Batman doesn't kill. Batman doesn't kill.
This Batman fucking does because he's pissed off.
It's like, yeah, this Batman's older, and he's like, yeah, you know what? I'm shooting some bitches.
That's shit that Batman has seen up until this point. It's like, just stop it. There's almost no point in just arguing. This Batman is going to kill people. The whole fight scene near the end when he's going to get Martha, where Jeremy Irons. I kept calling him Jeffrey Lyons, which he's a reviewer. It just hit me now that I called him that. And you know what? If you've listened this long, I apologize.
No, I think it's the first time you've done it. I didn't catch it.
No, I think I called him Jeffrey Lyons early because when I said, "Isn't Jeffrey Lyons like the best alpha?" I swear to God, I think I said Jeffrey Lyons. No, Jeremy Irons. I know for a fact I didn't say Jeremy Irons. Anyway, when he says he's going to drop him off on the second floor because they're on the third, and he comes up from the ground, it's just that whole fight scene is great, where he just lifts the guy up over his entire body and just slams him, into the ground wrestling style.
Oh,
it's just fucking great.
That fight sequence in the warehouse to save Martha at the end. My favorite move was when you had the one guy up in the air and he punched his head into the ground.
Yeah,
he's like lifts him and like bam. It's like fuck yeah.
Yeah, he's not living through that. That guy's paralyzed from the eyeballs down.
Yeah.
The one move I liked almost as much as that was where he jumps over the box, but as he jumps over it, he taps it with the wire and then throws it at them.
That was the one part where I was like, I don't know how.
No, I
how
liked
was that
it.
box. It was like there was that. That was
he lifted a 200-pound guy over his head. I'm not worried about how much the box weighs.
That's true. I'll give you that.
So
it gave me pause, but I wasn't complaining about it.
Nah, no way.
The weakest part for me was when they pulled the RoboCop thing with the wall.
Oh, yeah.
Just because it was really telegraphed. It's like, now we're moving the camera so the wall's there and see the water stain. Hold on, give us a second. We want to make sure you can see that the wall is right behind this guy. Oh, can we do this a little quicker? Because we don't. Come on, Zach. We don't need to set up for this. We know what's happening. He came to the floor 2 minutes ago. Don't hold out on us. Just get it done.
Little things. I mean, that's quibbles compared to why it's got 29%. They don't get it. They don't get it.
Yeah,
it's a shame. It really is a shame because they're looking at it. I think you really hit the nail on the head with Deadpool coming out. They're just comparing it to a Marvel universe that has nothing to do with it. They're looking at it with the wrong eyes.
Yeah, I mean, and just the fact they brought Bryan Singer back to make more X-Men films. It's like, is anybody watching these? What the fuck?
Yeah, and you know what? 20th Century Fox is holding on to the X-Men franchise. It can't even be a part of the Marvel universe that they have right now with the Avengers and all of that. Even Deadpool, they just mentioned the X-Men. I don't think you'll ever see. Well, we got to see Colossus, which was great. Yeah. But that's as far as 20th Century Fox is going to allow it, I think. They may do a Wolverine thing, but, I mean, come on. They just released, Sony just released Spider-Man from their, its own universe and is now allowing it into the Marvel universe, which everyone creamed their fucking pants over the Captain America Civil War trailer. Yeah. And, and you know what? It finally premiered, and I'm like, oh, they're going to do Spider-Man because I keep hearing about it that Sony released him, and I'm like, oh, everyone's just shitting their pants because he's going to be in this. And of course, at the end, he is, and I'm like, okay. But everyone was losing their fucking mind. It was posted 1 million fucking times. It was shared 1 million fucking times. And I'm just like, was I the only one that wasn't surprised by this? Like, for real. Yeah. Like, am I the only one that saw this coming a mile away? Oh, and apparently there's another fucking Star Wars trailer called Rogue One.
Yeah, it's like an offshoot.
It's the timeline is between episode 3 and episode 4.
Yeah.
So right in the middle there.
Hey,
and this is a real Star Wars movie, from what I understand.
Right, because Lilith was talking about that, and I was asking her about it. And so
because the world premiere came out today or something. The trailer.
Right, and I told her, says, if there's anybody that knows how to milk a fucking franchise, it's Disney. So of course they're like, why are we doing just 3 films? Well, anybody? Yeah, fuck that. Another one in between them. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised.
Is Wedge still alive? How come he doesn't have his own movie? Do it.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is successful, they do another one between Jedi and Force Awakens.
Oh, why not?
Because there's 30 years in between there.
Again, if anybody's going to do it, Disney's going to do it.
Although that'll be harder because you have a younger Harrison Ford and
Well, no,
a younger Carrie Fisher.
You do peripheral characters. You don't put those characters in.
Yeah, but people are going to be expecting it if it's between those two timelines.
And they'll be disappointed, but they'll still pay the money. So who gives a fuck?
Well, you know, it was interesting because I had no idea, zero, that this Rogue One Star Wars movie was coming out. Because it was like, Good Morning America, world premiere tomorrow morning. And I'm like, people are going to really sit around and be late for work to watch this? And I went into the forum and I took a look. And there's opening weekend predictions. This is what we've become. Not you and I could give a shit. But this is what we've been. Oh, it's going to make 190 million its opening weekend. It's like, is it really? Is it really? Oh, it's going to make $1 billion worldwide. No, it's going to make 1.5 billion. It's like, really? Is that how we're doing it? What do we got here? Gino Cuddy says, what about Ashley Graham as Wonder Woman?
Who?
I don't know. Let's have a look. Well, she's a plus-size model. I think she's she's too curvy, I think, for Wonder Woman. I mean, people are going apeshit that this woman doesn't look like Linda Carter. Which was funny. And believe me, I don't have a problem with curvy. I just don't think this girl is the right one for Wonder Woman. Anyway, they showed I saw a small clip of Linda Carter taking off her the halo or whatever it is, and because it's also a weapon.
Yeah.
It's from the 70s TV show, and she throws it, and she's so bad at throwing it, it actually lands in front of the camera. Like, it doesn't actually fly far enough off camera to think that it went somewhere. You could see that it just went 5 feet in front of her. It's like, yeah, Gal Gadot or Gadot, or however it's pronounced. Yeah, she's a little thin. She's a model. But you know what? Linda Carter, I was never really a big Wonder Woman fan.
Well, and that's good because you grew up with a lot less fetishes than other people that grew up watching. There's nothing sadder than knowing that there's a whole generation of adults out there right now, a little bit older than us, that grew up with there's a whole section of Wonder Woman knockout fetishists.
Is there really?
Oh yeah, just because she would like be knocked out by like sleeping gas every episode, and all these little kids growing up and like getting their sexual identity watching this curvy woman being knocked out, they now have this like unconscious fetish. It's
Oh, is that why there's unconscious porn?
Yeah.
Is that Wonder Woman's fault?
No, that's one of the many reasons. But I mean, yeah. So you dodged that bullet.
There you go.
But again, like I said, I'm just a little disappointed in that kind of that move because it is still doing that kind of. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't want to hang too much on it because I think she did a fine job for what there was to do.
Let's put it this way: when the Wonder Woman film comes out, that's going to really tell the tale. Not her, literally, 10 minutes of on-screen time in the Doomsday fight. You know, which was good. You know, it wasn't like it wasn't any good. It was very good.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of moving parts in that fight scene because it's Superman, it's Wonder Woman, and it's Batman.
I like
trying to hold his own because shit's exploding. It's like, yeah, I could die.
I like the one shot where Batman's standing off in the distance and he's watching, or he's standing in the foreground, and in the distance you see like the Doomsday punching Superman through a wall and Wonder Woman jumping around, and Batman's off to the left. Yeah, there's a lot of explosions going on over there.
It's like, yeah, I got the cool suit, but I could still burn alive.
Yeah,
if I get anywhere near there.
Superman already fucked the suit up a bit. I'm good. I'll wait.
I love the scene where Batman has finally won the fight between him and Superman, and he's got his foot on his throat, and Superman is so weak from the kryptonite powder, and the spear is like right near him, so it's like really fucking him up. And he's like, Martha, you must save Martha. And I just love Ben Affleck. I love Batman at that point. It's like, what is that? What is this? Why did you say that? I just love his initial inflections. What is that? I'm about to fucking stab you through the face, and you're telling me about Martha, who just so happens to be my mother's name, who just so happens to be your mother's name. But I love that where he's just like, what is this?
For everybody out there who's saying, oh, so they learned their mothers had the same first name and now they're best buddies, go fuck yourself. Learn how to watch a story and read subtext. You're a fucking 5-year-old. It's about him discovering that Superman actually does have this human connection because he is more concerned about his mother than his own life. And it's that kind of concern about human life is the reason that Batman was afraid of him, was that he felt he didn't care about human life.
Right.
And that's
kept calling him an alien, saying he was never a man.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. You were never a man. It's like, even at that point, I was still rooting for Batman too. I was like, yeah, fuck him. Do it. I'm totally on Batman's side in that whole fight. But yeah, that's the whole point of that. Not just that they have first names. And you know what? If you don't get it, you're too stupid in the first place. And everybody complained about that. Also had other complaints that made no sense. I was slow in the first part. Really? Because that opening sequence kicked fucking ass. And
yeah.
I mean,
and here's the thing. Okay, so let's bring it full circle now.
Yes.
In the Frank Miller storyline, and this is why they did the Death of Superman with Doomsday.
Again,
okay?
just underline, I've never been a huge fan of The Dark Knight. It's okay, but I've never been as slavish about it as I was.
Right. I mean, I know the storyline pretty well.
Yeah.
But I know why they did Doomsday, and I know why they did the Death of Superman. It's dramatic. Okay, it's a great scene. Superman risks his own life to save humanity, making him quote unquote human. Okay, so there's that. But Christopher Nolan already did the Frank Miller ending, which is Batman fakes his own fucking death. In The Dark Knight Rises, again, spoiler alert all over the place. In The Dark Knight Rises, Batman fakes his death so he can live a normal life. Okay, he's done with being Batman. Well, in the original Frank Miller storyline, Batman, that's what he does. He fakes his death. So, and, Superman at one point thinks he kills him, Batman has a heart attack because, he's in his late 40s, early 50s at that point in the Frank Miller storyline. But Superman knows he's not dead because he could hear his heartbeat, super hearing. But fucking Zack Snyder's not going to do that. Christopher Nolan already did that in the last Batman movie. That's why they introduced Doomsday and did the Death of Superman. No one can fucking understand this. I mean, How hard is this shit?
And also, since they're going to be setting up Ben Affleck to do like another Batman franchise.
Yeah, it's an older Batman, but we get to see the darker, I'm going to kill fucking people Batman instead of, swear to me, I don't kill anyone. It's just, this is better.
This way, they'll be able to do Robin better because it'll be an older Batman.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to get a more sinister Joker because there's history there.
Who knows if they'll even do the Joker? I don't know.
Well, I think Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry. You're right. I'm sorry.
With Suicide Squad, I don't know if they're going to tie in Batman versus Superman, but I think they are in some way.
Batman is going to be in Suicide Squad.
Oh, he is?
Yes. Yeah, he is. Oh. He is listed as being in. Probably just a bit part, but he's going to show up in Suicide Squad. Yes.
Okay, so it's going to be Ben Affleck Batman. Obviously.
Yes.
Oh, good.
That's what I've read. That's what I've read.
I like that. So Jared Leto is going to be, Batman's Joker.
Yeah. So.
Which I'm still not sold on the grill, but I'm willing to forgive because I know Jared Leto is a great fucking actor, and I think he's going to sell Joker really well.
Make me giggle every time you complain about the grill.
He's never had that before. The tattoos I can
good.
Live with.
That's good. He's never had that before. That's great. Lex Luthor never had hair before. Well, at least not like that. Well, I even saw like some people compare like mention like Smallville Shut the fuck up.
Oh God! You know what?
Don't even.
The TV show Smallville was on for God knows how many years, 7, 8 years. I to this day I don't know if he ever became fucking Superman in that show.
I don't want.
They revolved so many goddamn seasons around him having these powers, but just it was only his Smallville life, and it's like, could you fucking bore me more? Is it even possible? And people love that fucking show, and I fucking hated it.
Yeah, same here. I had a co-writer, Charlie, and he was like, "Oh yeah, Scott, I tell you, Smallville's a great show." It's like, I'm not even talking to you about this. Not even discussing it. We're just gonna. Yeah. I'm gonna pretend you didn't say it, and we'll move on.
And then they had that other stupid fucking show, the one with Terry Hatcher, where she played Lois Lane. It was like
Lois
Superman. Lois and Clark or whatever it was. Jesus fucking Christ. It's like, thank God Zack Snyder was born and just put in the position to direct these films. And anyone that doesn't think so, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
You have no idea the shit
now
that we've had to endure as far as a Superman universe. Just stop it. It's been Lex Luthor for 25 fucking years, and it's, Christopher Reeve, and that was fine, but it just...
And I'm going to say it. I'm tired of this like, oh, but I grew up with that. Oh, that's my childhood. You know what? I grew up with the fucking Bugaloos, and you don't hear me defending them. Right. All right? I liked the Bugaloos. Don't hear me defending it. Let's separate our childhoods from taste and common sense and logic, and and a hard thing too is like, you're always going to find something you don't like, and it's not always logical. It's just like when we're talking about the superhero show, for example, the Daredevil series. I watched the first episode, and I was like, yeah, can we talk some more? I hated it. And I've heard other people say, oh yeah, it picks up, blah blah blah.
It does.
Right. All I'm saying is that, regardless of style, content, quality, screenwriting, with this superhero stuff, it's all rooted in, like, really, most of us is rooted in our childhood experiences with these things. The fact that I didn't start reading comic books until high school, I have my exposure is a little different.
Right. That's when I started reading. I read comics in high school.
So we weren't reading comic books as like 8 or 10. I never got into comic books then. I was deprived as a child.
Well, you know what it was? It was always walking home. Or we didn't walk home. We walked to the arcade and fucking Metropolis. I mean, that's what we did.
Right.
So that's how we were introduced to it. Nowadays, kids aren't allowed to walk anywhere.
Right. but all I'm getting at is that, so I can see people not liking this film because it doesn't fit into what their experience with Batman and Superman. They don't like the direction it's taking. That's a very valid reason not to like it. Right. So yeah, this is not the Batman and Superman I want to see. I'm really used to this. That's great. Doesn't make it a bad film.
Right. No, right.
Yeah, I just...
there's a comic book store that's walking distance from my house. It's actually closer to my house than the movie theater, which is only 75 feet further from this comic book store. I should be going to this comic book store. As a 40-year-old man, I should be going to the comic book store and just cherry-picking comics I really want to read as an adult.
I don't know if I have the time to get back into it. I mean,
I don't have the time, and I want to do it, but I have less time than that.
You having children, you'll have an excuse and a reason to do it because you can do it with them.
Danny, my oldest, he's just really starting to read now, and I want to buy him some baseline comic books, put this on your plate kind of comics, that every comic book reader should start with, like your Supermans, your Batmans, your X-Men's, stuff that really get him interested, because those are like kind of the ones, and then he'll branch off into like shit that we started branching off into, like the Preachers and the Dark Horse comics, stuff like that. So, he's only 5, he's going on 6, but when he starts, really reading and he can understand plot structure and storyline, which will be in another couple of years, I want to get him some comics.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just me talking as a parent. But.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, but yes, Batman vs Superman was great. We should review this or rate it. I mean, on IMDb, huh?
Yeah. Let's go.
Let's go ahead and do that.
What do you want to do? I'm logged into the official Moviesucktastic IMDb account.
Okay. Now here, do your thing. The thingy, the demographic.
We have
I
to
know
rate
you
it.
like to do
We
that.
have to rate it first.
Oh, we do we? That's right. I'd solid 8.
9.
9.
9.
I could go 9.
Let's do 9. Fuck it.
Let's do 9.
Thank you. I'd feel cheap if I did a 10, so I think 9. 9.
Yeah, no, 10 would mean that it's it's absolutely perfect, and it
My-
does have some flaws. I mean, little ones, but you know
Right.
what there's not many that is perfect anyway.
Loses a star because my bald Luther idea is better.
And I almost feel guilty. Almost. I mean, they're just giving me money. The movie has made a shit ton of fucking money. It made $170 million its opening weekend. Its 3-day opening weekend.
Uh-huh.
So it's gonna hit the $1 billion mark. Let's see. Opening weekend it did 166 million. It's made 270 million in America or North America so far. It's made 450 million in the foreign market for a total of 720 million. Yeah. It's not done yet. It hasn't opened up in every market. It's going to get close to that billion or just cross over the billion mark.
So it's got to be a really bad movie if all these people are seeing it.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. But where was I going with that?
Oh.
Oh.
Now, demographic-wise, it's pretty much across the board around 7. I mean, like it's
Yeah.
all really everybody's averaging out. The only thing is the IMDb staff, all 7 of them, average 6 stars. Fucking
Oh, really?
fucking hipster animated series watching motherfuckers.
Oh, Gino says he did voicemail. I didn't grab it. I mean, I could play it, but I'm the only one that's going to be able to hear it.
Yeah, we had a lot of audio.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, we had a lot of audio difficulties at the beginning of the show, so we're already behind, unfortunately.
We'll play it next week, Gino. That's a promise.
Yeah. And if you're listening and you want us to play your comments, reviews, definitely call our hotline. Joey, what's that number?
It's 908-514-4470, but we're not exactly at that point of the show yet.
I just mentioned this since you mentioned calling. That's all.
Yes. But I remember where I was going. A week before the movie comes out, Xbox and for the Sony, PlayStation did it too. They were selling Batman Arkham Knight, at a discount. The movie came out last June, so it's been out for a few months. So they were selling it at a discount, and it was like $24, something like that. Well, at Christmas, Microsoft was randomly picking people to get $20 as a Christmas gift. I just happened to be one of those people. So I got the game for $4. But I was going to buy the game anyway, but when I went to go buy it, it said, oh, because you're buying this game, we're going to give you $8 to go see Batman Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice. And I'm like, holy shit, that's fucking awesome. I almost feel guilty for only having to pay $1.50 to go see this movie. I mean, they gave me the $8, so I used it.
I saw it for free because I used Movie Pass.
Well, technically it's not free, but
Hey, I know, but
if you see more than 2 movies a month, it's free.
if you see more than 2 movies a month, you break even.
Well, no, the third movie makes it free because it would have been an extra like $12 or $15.
It breaks down anyway.
Anyway, all right. So here's a stipulation with the sheet. It says on it that I have to hand it to a cashier. Can't use it to buy tickets online. So I had to actually drive to the theater and set a preemptive date for when I wanted to go see this movie. It wasn't like I feel like going to see it now. I'll go now. It's like, okay, I'm going on Sunday, which was like a week later at the 12 o'clock show. And it specifically says on the sheet that use up to $8 of the money. And it says the person handing you the sheet is not allowed to get money back. So if it came to $7.50, I'm not getting 50 cents. It specifically said that on the sheet. Now, if I had seen the matinee showing at 10 o'clock, it would have cost $5.70. So they would have had to owe me $2.30. So, but the sheet says that they're not allowed to do that. And I'm thinking, oh man, that's like $2.70 I could put towards popcorn. But I'm rambling at this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
We did mention that the film is going to have an R-rated version of it that is going to be 30 minutes longer.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm sure is going to have even more Easter eggs, because there's a bunch of Easter eggs in here. I mean, we talked about pretty much everything from the Flash Crisis timeline or the time travel to Darkseid and the Parademons and all of that. But it's going to be 30 minutes longer, and it's going to be the R-rated version, which I love that Zack Snyder does that. Comes out as PG-13. It's intended to be rated R. You get that with the ultimate cut of this film, which, you know what? I don't buy many Blu-rays. I only buy the ones that I really want to have in a Blu-ray type collection. This is going to be one of those films.
Yeah.
I will buy this. I bought Watchmen. I bought 300. Actually, I bought everything from Snyder's except for Sucker Punch on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see the R-rated longer cut of this.
Sucker Punch keeps coming up around here because Holly and the girls love that movie.
Oh, because of the one actor, Poe Dameron.
Oh, that's Lilith, but they just like the film. They
Well, I will give Snyder credit. That movie was rated PG-13. I'll give him credit for one thing. During some of the scenes, specifically the one dream sequence where they're fighting those Nazis, and when they get cut or limbs severed or necks slit, smoke or steam comes out. And I'm like, all right, I'll give him credit. That's supposed to be just blood spraying everywhere, but he wanted to give this a PG-13 flavor to it.
Yeah.
So they used that instead, and it works. It's still not a great film. I really think I would have went more with, and I've mentioned this on the show, every time they went into a dream sequence and they showed that alternate reality, I think it would have been very interesting if they kind of did a side-by-side of what really is happening in the room compared to what's happening in the dream sequence.
No, I disagree with that.
No, I think that would have worked well. Because they did it in one part, and it was excellent. It was the scene where the water is coming in, and it's about to hit the wire, and it's about to cut the music. All of the shit all that chaos that's happening, that they kept going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, to what's really happening in the room, to what's really happening, or what's happening in the dream sequence. I think if they did that more often, it would have made it more interesting.
Maybe.
So
what I find
that's just my take.
Yeah, what I find interesting is that obviously I didn't care for it, and Holly, Catherine, and Lilith, all three of them like it, and so I'm like, yeah, so it's a girl thing.
Yeah, because I was just gonna say it's all girl heroines. So
yeah, so I guess it's a girl thing, and of course the answer is like, no, it's not. It says, well, all the girls like it.
Obviously, it is.
I'm gonna go with that theory.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with it too. Anywho.
Oh, I drank half bottle of NyQuil earlier, so I'm surprised I'm still awake right now.
Wow. All right.
I have not been feeling well, but that should kick its ass, or mine.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and end this thing. Well, actually, that would work if the ending music had the right.
Oh, here we go.
Well, you know what? I got rid of. Here, I'm doing it now. There we go. I got rid of all of the extra stuff that I do sound-wise, so we could fucking do a show tonight. There we go. There we go. You still can't hear it because I got rid of all that. So you're just going to hear me talk without music. It's going to be weird, but go with it.
I'm going with it.
Okay. Thank you again for joining us. This is our 200th episode, which is very fitting because Ben Affleck was in our 100th episode. And we did Argo for that.
There we go.
We're doing this for our 200th. We tried to do something special, but you know what? We have jobs. Sorry. Maybe in our 300th, we'll do something. Anyway, go to our website at Moviesucktastic.com. You can download all the shows there. You can listen to the show live every Thursday at 8 o'clock right from the website. We're also going to start putting the live embedded link on the Facebook page. So you should go ahead and like us on Facebook so that if that's where you are at that moment, you're going to see the link probably quicker than you're going to remember to go to our website. So we're going to start doing that every week. If you want to leave us email, the address is themovieguys@moviesucktastic.com. If you want to leave us voicemail, the number is 908-514-4470. I highly recommend you do one of those two, and we will play or read whatever you send us. All right?
Yeah.
You can go to our Tumblr page at Tumblr or moviesucktastic.tumblr.com. You can download the free Android app for your phone. Everything I just said is in there, and it's 100% free. The iTunes feed is there. You can listen to it right from your phone. If you have Bluetooth, that's awesome. That works really well. We have a mobile version of the website for the iPhone users. The web player to play the audio from that is coming soon. Just haven't had time for that, but it's coming. And if you want to do a search for us in your favorite search engine, Scott likes Google.
Google it.
Go ahead and do that. Just do a search for Moviesucktastic. If you want to throw Joey and Scott with that as well. We just, tons of shit comes up, including our Exotica coverage, which, that was 5 fucking years ago. 5 years ago. We should have people send us their Exotica coverage.
I think so. Oh,
Let's do that.
And we haven't posted on the blog in a while, but I actually just recently posted a lengthy 2,800 word review of God's Not Dead. Be sure to check that out.
That was awesome, by the way. I loved every word of that review. That was fantastic.
It was an experience. And
yeah.
I may have to see part 2 in the theater.
And oh no. See, Scott, now I have to watch this film so that I can, not that we're going to review it, but Scott, we can talk about it in just general conversation if I see it.
General conversation.
I'm always looking for an excuse to do that outside of the podcast and the radio show.
Like you need an excuse. Come on.
I don't. Anyway. All right, everybody. That's our show, number 200. Thank you, as always, for joining us. Do you have any words of wisdom as the music fades out?
Do you bleed?
You will.
Yeah!
All right, everybody. We'll talk to you next week.